I'm gonna be real with you all. When NCSoft revealed that Project TL, aka Project the Lineage, aka Lineage Eternal, aka Lineage 3, yes, we have literally gone through that many incarnations of this game at this juncture, would be launching globally in 2022 on both PC and console. I'll admit I wasn't really overly optimistic. Given we hadn't seen any footage in years, made me even less certain, but as of earlier today, NCSoft revealed that the game has undergone an entire overhaul, from a top-down isometric MMO like Lost Ark to a full third-person action MMO like Black Desert, with new gameplay mechanics that could potentially revolutionize the entire MMO genre. And holy crap, it looks ridiculously good. Hey, my name is STIX and welcome back to the channel. I have been hyping up this game for years now, ever since I heard about it alongside Lost Ark's announcement back in 2016, maybe 2017. And today we get to take a look at a game that is almost in a complete form that I have been waiting for since pretty much the inception of this channel. A game that could potentially be direct competition for not only Lost Ark, but also Black Desert Online. Quick shout out to our patrons over on Patreon. This allows you to directly support us if you're interested. Every patron will have their name appear at the beginning of every single YouTube video, and you'll be immortalized in the MMO genre forever. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump directly into the trailer, because I know that's what a lot of you are here for. It's what a lot of you guys want to see. And this is supposedly full in-game gameplay. Yeah, this really does look a lot different to Project TL. Wow. Man. We actually get our first look at a proper UI. The HP bars, your stamina bar. It is about damn time, and it looks great. Like, no joke, not gonna lie. This looks, everything about the UI is clean. It looks like your abilities are keybound to your letter keys. Oh, is that a world boss? A full third-person MMO with a budget that NCSoft can supply. It is about damn time, right? What? Oh, this must be like this must be a form of PvP. This must be like the siege battles. No way though. Oh man, that looks sick. Holy crap. You can't, come on, you can't look at that and not think to yourself, holy crap, man. No freaking way. In the official blog post made by NCSoft, they went on to confirm that Throne of Liberty is going to be releasing in the second half of this year globally, it seems, as they note that they are going to be actively pursuing various different genres based on different models and will be actively entering the global market. they announced 5 games earlier this year, not only MMORPGs, but also interactive movies, action, battle royales, and collectible RPGs. All these games will be serviced in the global market. These 5 games, which I covered last month in a dedicated video, are not the only games that are in the process of development. NCSoft confirmed that they will be releasing a variety of videos showcasing new IPs shown in February, one by one. We also plan to create IPs that have not yet been made public. Again, this does include MMOs, this includes RPGs, single player RPGs, multiplayer RPGs, and more. And they go on to note that each game is going to be built specifically for each individual platform, with some of the games like this one being built cross-platform between PC and console. Concerning Throne and Liberty, the devs went on to elaborate a little bit on why the game has taken as long as it has to release. The original objective of the project was, let's make the next generation Lineage. The sentiment that they expressed was held approximately 3 years ago. However, after remaking the story of Throne and Liberty, it was materialized as a new IP. In the process of development, a lot of the original system and content had to be adapted or removed to follow the current game trends. As a result, the gameplay also gradually became different from the original. Decisively, we wrote a completely new story, and after this work, questions arose within the development team as well. Like, should this be called Lineage? So we decided to change the name to fit the new story. This also reflects the will of the development team to break the shell of Lineage. So what they mean is, in essence, they did not think the game was going to perform as well as they had anticipated it would, specifically due to the dated graphics, the dated gameplay, and the gameplay mechanics. Throne and Liberty is a project created by reconsidering the core values that the next generation MMO on PC and console should follow. Numerous efforts went into designing how immersive the world is where players play. The environment has been carefully constructed so that many people can continue to have new experiences and enjoy the world of Throne and Liberty. And admittedly, that's kind of a grandiose claim to make, right? Next generation MMO, like that's not the first time we've heard this. But at the same time, given how innovative Lineage, Ion, Blade and Soul, WildStar were for their respective times, I'm more than willing here to give NCSoft the benefit of the doubt. For example, there have been various attempts to make field play less monotonous. Even in the same area, the terrain may change as the weather changes, the flow of battle may change depending on the direction of the wind, or you may encounter new monsters over time. Hunting methods and purposes are constantly changing accordingly. The geographical features, the environment, and the player, these 3 factors influence each other, and we put a lot of effort into making the play come out in different ways, even in the same area. We expect that diverse variables will create a vast array of gameplay. Now, actually, you know what? I take that back. This right here, this is a grandiose claim to make. And an ever-evolving game world where the terrain changes as the weather changes, and the flow of battle being dependent on the direction of the wind, or the fact that you could encounter migrating herds of monsters, I would genuinely, wholeheartedly love for this to be a thing. And if they do somehow manage to implement this and it functions as we expect it to, then yeah, no doubt, this could be the greatest, the largest scale MMO in decades. This could set an entire precedent. This could shape the future of the entire genre. But at the same time, I do feel like these ideas are a little bit too grand. They had a few things to say concerning its release in various different regions as well. It might sound rather ideal, but I think that if we appeal to players purely for enjoyment, it can be loved without boundaries between generations or regions. Thus, we created Throne and Liberty by thinking about what NC has missed so far and focusing on making up for it. We did not specifically divide the East and the West or focus on a specific target, and while a little vague, it does seem like they have the intention of allowing players to play this game without regional restrictions. But at the same time, they didn't confirm whether or not a global or an English version of the game would be coming simultaneously with the Korean version, or if it would instead come after. Just that it was coming globally this year. This is going to be a very narrative-driven game. The developers feel that for players to fully enjoy an MMO, or a game more specifically, you need to find yourself engrossed in a larger world filled with lore and personality. But that isn't it. The story is important, but at the same time, so is content, which was also addressed. World bosses, dungeon bosses, raid bosses, large elite monsters. There will be a lot of difficulty, a lot of challenge present in-game that will require an adequate amount of teamwork. These encounters, especially the world boss fights, are going to require active participation by large quantities of players all cooperating with one another. But given that this is an MMO, and these are gamers, you know for a fact that is not going to happen. The world itself was elaborated on a little, with the developers confirming that their goal was to seamlessly connect the entire world together, so the player could move three-dimensionally. In light of this, they've made it so there is absolutely no fast travel function found within this game. Rather, there needed to be a method with which to traverse the land at an increased rate, and thus they opted to allow players to transform into animals. Yeah, animals. So you can run faster across the land. You can swim faster through the water. Kind of like a druid from World of Warcraft with their druid form. I know, interesting decision, interesting choice and route to take, especially given the option of mounts as a form of travel. In an effort to further revolutionize how combat mechanics function in game, they promise that weather conditions are going to affect combat physically. As an example, when you fire your bow, the strength of the wind is going to affect the range and the trajectory of your arrow. When it's sunny, lightning elemental magic is only going to hit a single target, as opposed to the magic becoming an AoE during stormy weather. And seriously, I kid you not, if they somehow find a way to physically implement these features into this game, which they actually claim that they have already done, then this game is going to be absolutely massive. In another interesting direction, it turns out that one of their other games, Project E, is going to share the same game world with Throne and Liberty. They'll be set on different continents, but be completely connected lore-wise. Sharing a worldview is something that you don't typically see. It's like if they split Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms into entirely different games. Each game has their own unique narrative, their own unique setting, and will operate separately from one another. Project E will be Korean inspired, while Throne and Liberty will be based around medieval fantasy. And that is it. That is all the information that we have right now. This game could be a monolithic, groundbreaking MMO that absolutely dominates the entire MMO genre for years to come. Or at the same time, it could go down as one of the largest failures in the entire history of the MMO genre, especially given the fact that it has been in development as Lineage 3 for 11 years now, and Throne and Liberty for at least the last 4 by the time it launches later this year, which once again they have confirmed they are still on track for globally as well. 2022, boys, this is it.
Again.